Panic. There's no fire.
No panic.
All right,
Good.
so I want
There
to
we
start
go.
out by pointing out this shirt is from 2013, and you may notice it a few times. So my name is Vicki, and I am a compulsive food addict. Today I am celebrating 730 days, which is 1.99999 years. And at midnight, when you hear the fireworks, you will know it's been 2 years, so tomorrow morning. And I'm very proud to share this with a couple other people from core number 133. I came in here on January 11th, so my sobriety date is January 12th. So as a reminder, abstinence is defined as the act of refraining from compulsive eating and compulsive food behaviors while working towards and maintaining a healthy body weight. All right, well, it came to pass in the late days of 2022 that there went out a decree in my brain from my addicted, depressed brain that I was not enough. I was a failure, a fat failure. I had no joy. I did not love myself at all. I couldn't understand why anyone would love me. I was filled with guilt and shame for the life choices that I had made through my existence, childhood to present. Just want to point out this picture is 2021. Here's a year later. It's a progressive disease. Every time you dip down, it shoots you back up. I preferred to nap away my days instead of participate in life. Every social interaction I had was focused on food and drink. I could not control my eating. There was no connection that the food and drink that I was consuming was causing me so much pain, physical or mental, because it was the only thing that gave me feelings. A little joy, a little excitement, and a quick sense of calm until the guilt, shame, and anxiety would set in moments later. Same shirt. I couldn't admit that I had a problem because I really didn't know I had one, or that other people suffered like me. I was lonely and unique. I had no willpower and no won't power. Diets don't work. I have tried them all. I've even tried to alter my body with surgery. I was at my rock bottom. There are no words for this kind of despair. Lord, if this is it, if this is as good as it gets, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't get it. I can admit now that I had a plan. I knew how, I knew where, and I knew which neighbor would find me. And selfishly, it never crossed my mind how that would affect her, let alone my, at the time, boyfriend Mark, who's now my husband, my family, and my friends. Same shirt. But behold, fear not, I bring you tidings of great joy, for unto you we bring a solution. It was Wednesday, December 28th, and I was on a binge for most of the month, eating fast food most every day, holiday sweet treats. I was at my highest weight in years, puffy and depressed. Another night of, I don't feel like cooking, which means I had a huge binge in the drive-thru earlier today, then I napped, and now I'm bored, and I don't want to feel anything. I need a food fix and a few beers to wash it down. And that's exactly what I did. I sat, pretending that this was a fun date night, pretending to think the topic my boyfriend Mark was talking about was remotely interesting. It was probably about fishing. Pretending I cared about anything other than getting the food in my mouth to numb the pain that I could not understand. We got home from dinner and Mark took our dog out for a walk. And there on my TV were my old friends, Michael W. Smith and Amy Grant. The music and songs instantly took me back to my chubby, awkward teenage years when my faith in God was so strong. And I began to sing along and cry. I begged God to help me. I don't know what I needed, but I knew I needed help. I knew I was going to end my life before I turned 50 in March. I prayed, I ugly cried, and I drunk texted my girlfriend who lived just a few doors down. Long story short, my friend and neighbor of the past year was soon celebrating her 4-year recovery in AA. I had so much respect for how she lived her life in recovery, not fully understanding, and honestly, and the honesty in her life. She had seen CORE mentioned in a newsletter from the retreat facility up the hill called The Retreat. She sent me the link and I looked at it, and in a fog of poor attention, which you will know a pattern of this as we go along, I half read the information and then half read the information on the CORE webpage, and then here was the clincher, the cost. And it's a nonprofit. It was affordable compared to many places, and unbelievably, I didn't have to take time off of work. But you know, there's probably a catch. Please note, I did not read the stories on CORE or watch the videos because they weren't going to share something saying it was meh. You're only going to get rave reviews. And Nancy's photo, she was skinny. What does she know? It's just a job for her. That afternoon on December 30th, I called Nancy, whom in my mind was the sales manager of the program. I don't remember a lot of the call. I know I told her how much drive-through binging I was doing. And I thought when she said she understood that she was just saying that as a part of her script. Our discussion was a blur of dates, prices, and something about a 12-step program, which I liked the idea of, still not understanding or thinking it could help me. I remember saying, I just want to be over this food thing. I don't want to be obsessed anymore. I don't want to weigh, count points, and continuously think about food. And the blessed Nancy said, oh, I weigh my food every day. And I thought two things. One, oh, fudge. And two, sure you do. Like the salespeople who love the snack bars, ones that are required to buy at the various weight loss clinics and only wear the clothes from the one store that they work up. They have to say that. She doesn't know my pain. I have done it all, heard it all. And obviously, there was going to be a catch. And wouldn't you know it, there was 1 or 2 spots left for the January group. The old, you better book now sales pitch. She needed her quota for January. So, December 31st, I registered for CORE online, but the January group was closed. I signed up for the February, afraid that I was going to have to binge my way through another month without control, let alone would I still be alive by then. I called the salesperson, Nancy, and I got her voicemail. I mean, I'm sure the sales staff is probably off the holiday weekend, and maybe I would hear more on Monday. I told her I registered, and if January was still open, I would like it better. A few hours later, Nancy returned my call. My guess is she was in between having her makeup and her hair done for her giant New Year's Eve party. And she said, though, that she closed the enrollment because she knew I was coming. Nancy knows things. In all, 16 minutes, 5 seconds of phone calls that I don't remember much of, and I was on my way. But I knew there was going to be a catch. Such began my farewell tour of food, all things comfort to me. Did I really believe that I would never eat these foods again? Part of me hoped so. Part of me hoped not. But did I believe, a glimmer of hope for the first time, that this could be the end of the craziness of craving, planning, hiding, binging? My earliest memory of compulsive eating was when I was 5 years old. We had chickens growing up in 10 acres in Scandia, Minnesota. My dad would get old baked goods by the barrel from a bakery, And I would take the packages of donuts and hide behind the chicken coop and eat them until he found me. Binge eating after school, growing up in the 80s, was the only comfort for this bullied, learning disabled kid. I also remember how I couldn't wait to get my driver's license someday so I could eat fast food anytime I wanted. A goal I seemingly achieved. Tuesday, January 10th. Nancy texts, she has COVID. My heart sank. But as I read, relief, it wasn't canceled. She said she wouldn't be there, but Joni and Mary B would be there to take us through this path. But I bet she just got the weekend off and doesn't have to be there, and they're training in new people. Arrival. I parked right out front, and somehow in my mind, I thought that I had read to go past the first building to the second, where we were meeting. Again, foggy-brained, half reading and understanding. There were other cars parked next to me, and I never saw anyone else walk down the path. But I didn't really notice any people anywhere, so obviously there was no signage. I hauled my belongings, 2 huge bags, 1 suitcase, my pillow, and of course a vase of fresh cut flowers, all the way down the long icy path, down to the treatment center for young men, where I was told that it would be at the building that I parked at. I took 2 trips back, and my heart was pounding in my chest, lungs were burning. Did I mention I also quit vaping nicotine that day? Too much stuff to carry at once. So stubborn, so crabby. No sign saying core anywhere. How rude. Well, I came inside and Wendy carried my bags, and I was waiting for her to go through my belongings and take my strawberry flavored melatonin. I have seen the movie 28 Days. So sitting in these rooms, each day I had 2 main thoughts in my mind. I'll have just 1 more binge, and then on the way home, and then I'll start on Monday. And then an inner calm voice would say, don't throw this detox away. Sometimes that's all I could think about in my mind. Should I? Shouldn't I? Should I? Shouldn't I binge on Sunday? Our guest speakers came to share. No clue who they were until I met them a month or more later. Chalkboard guy? I do remember chalkboards, and that was about it. And I thought it was like at least an hour-long video. Well, as time went by, I started to feel that I had belonged. I had found my people. But every time I sat right there and I felt hope, I waited for the sales pitch. Buy a membership. One-on-one sessions with Nancy. Add continued care meetings, Facebook groups for a price. Purchase a copy of the food plan. Somehow we were going to be exploited. Because that is what they do. Over and over, the diet and exercise industry wait for us to pay and fail and then pay even more money and go through more drastic measures. And what happened? What did they push on us? Unconditional acceptance, unconditional support, unconditional love. Even if we couldn't see it or feel it fully or understand it, the spark had been set. Not just another fad diet, a solution. Can you do tomorrow what you did today? One day at a time. We were welcomed in and we were welcomed home. So, 2 years of abstinence and sobriety tomorrow. In my wildest dreams, I could not imagine all the blessings in my life. I am no longer obsessed with food. I don't crave things. I have food neutrality, which I never thought was possible. My relationship with my higher power, God, for me, is deepening and growing. The people that he brings into my life, my core and OA family, they understand me, love me, support me. These are my people. Being able to receive love and give love back, and trusting somebody and marrying them a year ago, and my first thought when I took his hands is, I'm present for this. Huge. To physically be able to open my massage practice and emotionally not be afraid of failure or other people's opinions. To find a way to clear the wreckage of my life, layer by little layer, and be able to let it go. To sit in the uncomfortable feeling of being very present and wiggle my toes. Not to have to always be right or in control, which is a work of progress. To know that my life matters in ways that I can never understand. And right now I am so grateful for my life. So what does 2 years in recovery look like? This is days after I walked out onto a lake to meet my husband who was ice fishing. I walked in the snow out. I got off the couch and it was amazing. And I will always remember this because I was standing out there and Mark called, just checking in, just making my calls. And it was like, oh my God, people really do this. So, January, I was quite crabby, to be honest. God bless my husband for putting up with me. And I also started working with my beautiful sponsor and bonded with her, who believed in me and could see through the fog. I'd be lost without her. So February, well, that was February, 30 days. Like, I would have thought I was wearing the tiniest little black dress because that's how you feel after 30 days. You keep going. These are my guarantees. We got the bug that we needed to move out of our townhouse. And I had my dream set on this house. No lie. I wanted this house. Lord, if it could just go, and I'm going to put in a pitch and I'm going to talk to this person and he'll sell it to me. I can paint those cupboards. I can make this work. It's going to be grand. And once it all fell through and I was sad and depressed, God said, well, how about this kitchen? Because it's being built. March 31st, my 50th birthday. Same shirt. And I was alive. You can see, like, I have a chin again. May is when I really started to notice my programming, or the changes in my body. I could finally really start seeing it and kind of maybe trusting it, because I've never trusted losing weight before. And when you want it to feel like Cinderella swirling and the sparkles and the birds and the high top cymbal, what it really, really feels like, instead of hitting the high top cymbals and all things addiction, it now feels like this. That's it. And I'm good with that because I can feel that. So, May, me and Terry again. We also closed a whole month early on our house. How does that happen? God. There I am in June, 6 months, feeling very different, and stealing my father-in-law's bib overalls for fishing. August, going out to the game fair with our dog, and so much fun. That belt was set at the biggest it could. It's like a belt purse, and that's how much inches I had already, okay. I work at an apple orchard, and it's a lot of fun, and I get wonderful visitors there. So in the first year I was there, I ate all the things, and now all the things really don't bother me. It's a lot of fun, and I actually really love apples. So December, we're coming up on year 1. Wendy was introduced to me, and Wendy and Terry and MJ are just my solid everyday people. I would like to add July, I did my first fourth and fifth step, and that was really hard. And now I love doing them and making lists of people like, ooh, I should find that person. So miracles really do happen. January 1st, I got married last year. There's my chain gang. And then what happens is when your attitude really starts to suck, you are going to head in one direction and one direction only, and I promise you that. It's going to end up in a relapse because it doesn't just happen at one moment, it's a progression. So I was going through a very emotional, hard time, and so I came back to core. I came back home, and I humbled, and I kept my mouth shut, and I just listened to step 1, 2, and 3. And April, roadside cleaning, I never would have done that. I also love Dateline shows, so I'm not saying that that is a deer carcass, but it probably is. And then comes the world of we, and I went out to Neenah, Wisconsin, and got to see these lovely ladies and stay at Karen Miller's house. When she says you want to come out here to detox, she really means it. If you need a place to go, you go to Neenah, Wisconsin, and you go see Karen, or you come, reach out because it works. Well, June, Brooke and I went to the Backstreet Boys. Did I say that? No, New Kids on the Block. See, I'm a little old. So, and then in July at Encore, here is 4 of us from the original Core 133. So we are really, really blessed. And there was Encore of 24. So I can't encourage, just keep coming back. And of course, then we went and saw Def Leppard. We went with Terry and Ginger and my Wendy. And then in October, I ended up in the emergency room from stress, from a job of complete codependency and caretaking, literally. And an intervention came because I could not quit this healthcare job for a quadriplegic that I worked for 24 years. And then my company recognized that and said, you can't go back to work until you get approved for it, which we all knew nobody was going to approve me for going back to work for emotional reasons. And I ended up leaving that job. And now this is what I do every day for a living, 4 or 5 days a week, and I couldn't be happier. And my world is upside down different, and I never thought that this could be my life. And I'm so grateful. And it's because of OA rooms, it's because of our core meetings and being able to be here. So I think that's all I have, and with that, I pass. How do you stop share?
Close up, there's a red.
Stop sharing.